Our health depends on the health of our environment. I think my research will be a good example to show that small changes that happen could send ripples through ecosystems and get back to us. So when you walk into a supplement section of a pharmacy, you will see labels like EPA and DHA. These are essential omega-3 fatty acids that's only produced in aquatic ecosystems, so in lakes or in the ocean. So this is produced by small phytoplankton, also known as microscopic algae, but we consume these omega-3 fatty acids by fish. So between fish and phytoplankton, we have zooplankton that balance these ecosystems. So my research was carried out in a small Inuit community in Nunavut, where they experience long and harsh winters. So the winters are 9 months long, where the lakes are frozen. I couldn't believe that there's life under these 2 meters of ice. It was surprising. But to sustain these ecosystems, the roles change. So these phytoplankton are less abundant, so zooplankton step up the game. So when the winter arrives, they accumulate these omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids as their winter survival strategy. For the winter active fish, this is so important. This is their only food resource. So, and for the Inuit communities, actually, they lose access to many other different resources. And with that, zooplankton act as the winter secret superfood. So winters are changing, the world is changing rapidly, and Arctic is experiencing very warmer and shorter winters. So the role of these aquatic food web is at risk. So we can decide, like, should we depend on these supplements for EPA and DHA, the essentials, or we can prioritize the health of our ecosystems because our health depends on them. Thank you.
I'm curious to know, while they defreeze, so to speak, to ask their questions. I'm curious to know, so you did measurement on zooplankton, phytoplankton, and did you correlate that with what was in the plate of the indigenous people in the Arctic during the winter?
Okay, so my research is actually based on the phytoplankton and the zooplankton and also fish. So we look at what's the level of omega-3 and omega-6 in them. We know what's the daily input we need to have in us. And actually, for Inuit communities, this is very important, and there have been a lot of research about these omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, because in Inuit communities, they're experiencing high rates of chronic diseases. So with that, they're relating the nutrition quality of this food. So the food is fish, and we are looking at the fish and the other parts of the system. So this is very important for the Inuit communities, as well as us too.
How about the toxic levels of various like hard metals and so on in the fish, in the fatty part of the fish? Could that be an issue that would diminish the advantage of having these products in the plate?
So it's a very common thing. Like there have been research about mercury in this fish, but the thing is that when it comes to lakes, they have found that the lake fish has less contaminants compared to the fish that you fish from the ocean. So it's a different, it's a good reason actually, like why we have to rely on fish from lakes, because it's kind of less in contaminant, but very rich in these essential fatty acids.
Question dans la salle? Oui, ici un juge.
If I were to give you 30 seconds to convince me to write an article about your topic, about your research, what would you tell me? Why is this important? Why should I care?
Winters are not very well known, and they have been changing. And we are forgetting that there's small animals, small organisms that keep the balance of the system, that help our health, to sustain our health, to sustain our world entirely. So it's a forgotten key, and I think that's a good point to make people think.
Did the community get involved, like the Inuit community or Northern community? Are you sharing results with them? What is their involvement?
Actually, we have a small research station in the Arctic, and when we go there, we have the opportunity to talk with them. We do small presentations like this, and most of the scientists who get there take the opportunity to communicate this science with them. So this is a good chance, good practice.
Jessica?
Je vais poser la question en français.
Oui.
En fait, tu as parlé de l'impact des changements climatiques sur le zooplankton et donc sur la quantité d'oméga 3 qu'ils pouvaient capter. Mais est-ce que votre étude elle a fait une étude un peu longitudinale, étudier des hivers qui sont plus froids, moins froids? Comment que ça s'échelonne dans le temps pour voir c'est quoi cet impact-là ou c'est des avenues futures?
Okay, I will summarize and
Thank you.
translate. So you refer to the impact of climate change in the manner that phytoplanktons or plankton might be able to store during the winter. Do you have any longitudinal study, like comparing winters, those that are colder, warmer, and so on the level of fatty?
So our research group, basically, we have been studying this small community for a long time, actually like 7 years now. We have been collecting data, and actually the thing is that when the winters are warmer, these zooplankton might not accumulate as much fat as they are taking now. So this will ultimately impact the fish and then us. So that's the thing, so we have to monitor. The thing is that winter specifically has been thought to be dormant. People thought that there's nothing happening, but now we are figuring out, no, there are so many things happening, and it's really interesting and important because compared to the rest of the world, the northern hemisphere is warming faster. Arctic itself is 4 times faster compared to the rest of the world. So we know very little, and it's changing fast. So it's a good point.